The following video is sponsored by vend-co.com. If you are looking for a side hustle or full-time income, invest in vending machines. Vend-co.com has the latest in vending equipment for the lowest price, and they have financing, so be your own boss. Check out their link in the description below. It really helps the channel. Thanks, guys. Good day, everybody. Today I'm going to be showing you how to play Monopoly for Sore Losers. The object of this game is to be the player that has the most amount of money by the time the game ends. Now, the main significant difference in this game between the other Monopoly games is the Mr. Monopoly Sore Loser token. If you get a hold of this, you're going to actually be able to earn money in cases where you would normally lose money. So I'll talk about how that works here in just a little bit. I'll show you some of the components really quick. We have the game board. All of the standard Monopoly properties are going to be in this version. You've got your chance cards, your community chest cards, and you also have what are called sore loser tokens. In the very beginning, everybody is going to start with 2 of these, and you're going to be earning these things anytime you have to do something that would be considered inconvenient or frustrating in Monopoly. Right over here we have the money, and everybody is going to be receiving $1,500 to start. We have the houses and the hotels over here. You'll be able to build these anytime you own a complete color set of any one group. So 3 blues, 2 browns, etc. We also have 6 tokens in the game that you're going to be able to choose from. I'll show them to you really quick. We've got the cat, we've got the penguin, we've got the car, we have a sinking ship, we have the dog, and then we have the dinosaur. And then what you'll do is you'll simply pick a token, and then you'll go ahead and place it here on the go space. You got a pair of dice here. In the very beginning, everybody's going to roll these dice, and whoever gets the lowest number is going to start. Each of the properties here are going to have a property card that are synonymous with it, and anytime you purchase a property or get to own a property, you're going to go ahead and take that property card. So in the very beginning, the first person is going to go ahead and roll the dice. Let's just be the penguin in this case. He went ahead and he rolled a 9. If you roll doubles, you will go ahead and roll again, but you got to be careful because if you roll doubles 3 times in a row, you are going to get sent to jail. And he landed on Connecticut Avenue. So he's got a choice. He can go ahead and purchase Connecticut Avenue if it is unowned. He will just simply pay the purchase price that is over here, and then he will go ahead and receive this title deed card. Now, anytime somebody lands on the property, that player is going to pay him rent. So if someone were to land on Connecticut Avenue right now, that player would owe me $8. If I own the complete color set, that rent is going to double, so in this case it will be $16. Now, if you own an entire color set, this is going to constitute a monopoly, and this is going to allow you to build houses and hotels so you can jack up the rent even more. And to simply do this, you'll just look for the house cost over here on the bottom, and this is $50 per house. So if I wanted to buy, say, 2 houses, I could go ahead and put $100 into the bank and then build a house like this and like this. And in this game, you're going to build evenly, meaning build, etc. Once you have 4 houses on one of the properties or all the properties, you'll be able to purchase a hotel. The way you'll simply do that is you'll go ahead and swap out the 4 houses, pay the hotel cost, which is over here, and then simply place a hotel on top of the property, like so. As you can see, if someone were to land on your property when you have houses, it is going to jack up the rent. And with the hotel in this case, it's going to be $600. Now, all the properties are going to be having different amounts. They're going to cost more money as it goes along the board, but the rent value is also going to increase. Here's an example. Boardwalk being the last property. Hotel, if someone were to land on it, would be $2,000. If it turned out I did not want to purchase the property is going to go up for auction. It'll start at $10, and players can bid in increments of $1 or higher, and whoever wins the auction will go ahead and pay the banker that amount, and he will go ahead and collect the property. If nobody wants the property, it will simply stay where it is. Now, on the back of the card, there is what is called the mortgage value. If you decide to mortgage your property, you'll simply flip this card over and you will receive this mortgage value amount. If you want to unmortgage the property and flip it back to the front, you'll go ahead and pay this amount. Now, if anyone lands on your property while it's mortgaged, you're not going to collect rent. The other properties in this game are the railroads, and they're going to be in the middle sections of each side of the board. And the way they work is, depending on how many railroads you own, that's how much you'll collect in rent. So if I were to own 3 railroads, someone were to land on it, I would get $100. Some of the spaces on the board, anytime you pass go, you will collect $200 in salary. Of course, you have all the properties. The community chests, if you land on that, we'll go ahead and draw a community chest card. I'll just show you a few of them. Here's one that says collect $100 from the bank. Here's one that says steal one sore loser coin from any player. Here's another one that says get out of jail free. These can be very helpful. And so there's cards in here that can either help you or hurt you. If you land on the income tax space or the luxury tax space, you'll simply pay that amount that is listed. The chance cards work the same way as the community chest cards. You'll simply draw one and then you'll just simply do what it says. And again, they can either help you or hurt you. If you get the Get Out of Jail Free card, you will go ahead and keep the card. And if you get sent to jail, you can always use this to bail yourself out. We have the Just Visiting space. You'll land on this. If you land on the space but you don't go to jail, if you end up going to jail, you'll land over here and stay in jail, and I'll tell you how you can get out in a bit. You've got a couple of bills. You've got the electric bill, which is $150 here, and the water bill over there, which is also $150. The free parking space, if you land on that, you will be able to steal one player's sore loser coin. You can have a maximum of 4 in the game. Whenever you get 4 coins, you'll be able to trade them in to take control of the Mr. Monopoly token over here. If it turns out you have 4 coins already, you'll just simply turn this one back into the bank. Now, as I said in the beginning, everybody is going to start with 2 of these sore loser coins, and there's several ways you can earn these coins. If you have to pay rent, if you have to pay a bill, which would be landing on those bill spaces, if there's a card that forces you to pay money, if you end up going to jail, landing on your own property, or if you draw a chance or community chest card that says to collect one. Now, once you collect 4 of these things, you'll be able to turn them in and then take over the Mr. Monopoly token. And what you'll do is wherever you are at, you'll put your token in the middle and then replace it with the Mr. Monopoly token. Now, the Mr. Monopoly token is going to reverse the effects of what's going on in the game. So in times when you would pay rent, you're actually going to collect rent from that owner. If you end up landing on the jail space, you'll be able to send somebody to jail. If you have to pay money in taxes, you'll end up collecting that amount in taxes, or if there's a card that forces you to pay, you'll be able to collect that money instead of having to pay it. And you'll also be able to steal somebody's property with this card as well if you end up landing on them by exact count. So if the car happens to be over here, Mr. Monopoly happens to land on him, he's going to essentially trap him. So now what he'll be able to do is he'll be able to steal a property from the car's collection as long as it's not a complete color set. Now the car is not going to be able to move until Mr. Monopoly moves off of him. And that'll happen whenever the player who is Mr. Monopoly goes again, or if someone ends up taking control of Mr. Monopoly. And the way someone can take control of Mr. Monopoly from somebody else is they would just simply turn in the 4 coins, and then they would go ahead and take control of Mr. Monopoly and then swap places with their token. Also, the player trapped under Mr. Monopoly will not be able to cash in his coins. Now, another interesting rule is whenever any player, including you, rolls doubles, you'll place a free house on any street on the board. It doesn't have to be part of a complete set, and you don't have to own it. And if you end up placing a house on that street and it's owned by the bank, if a player lands on it, they can still pay the regular price on the board and get the house for free. This is if somebody is already Mr. Monopoly. Also, the player trapped under Mr. Monopoly will not be able to cash in his coins. Now, if it turns out there is only 1 house or 1 hotel left that can be in use in the game, players can actually bid for these, and whoever ends up getting the highest bid will go ahead and win the auction and will purchase the house or the hotel for that purchase price. Now in this game you can do deals and trades. You can trade sore loser coins, you can trade get out of jail free cards, properties, you can sell things for agreed upon price. You can do this just as you would in the regular Monopoly game. Anytime somebody purchases a property that is mortgaged, they got a couple of choices. They could simply just repay the mortgage and unmortgage it, or they can go ahead and keep it mortgaged, but they're going to have to go ahead and pay a 10% penalty in order to do that. So what would happen in this case if someone traded in Boardwalk and the mortgage value being $200, if they didn't want to unmortgage it, they would pay the bank $20 and leave it that way until they wanted to unmortgage it later. But to do that, they're once again going to have to pay the full price. Now, if you end up running low on money and you end up having to pay more than what you have, one thing you can do is you can go ahead and mortgage the property to try to raise money that way. You can try to sell the properties to other players. Now, in this version, if you sell properties that have houses on them, the houses are going to stay. You're not going to have to worry about selling them back. And if after all that you still can't raise enough money, you're officially going to go bankrupt and you'll be out of the game. If it's a player that makes you bankrupt, you'll give them all of your mortgage properties. The game is going to end once everybody is bankrupt except one person, or the last property ends up getting purchased. When that happens, everybody is going to receive a free round of rent from the properties that they own, and if they have houses, they'll get that kind of rent. And then everybody will go ahead and count up all of their money, and whoever has the most amount of money at the end of the game is going to win. And that, folks, is Monopoly for Sore Losers.